10 p.m. up to morning. It never happens on a night when Arsenal is playing. The place just gets so crammed up with noise. You either hear the physical noise or you feel the tweets coming through, the WhatsApp messages, the Facebook posts. This morning, let's take a breather. When we return, it's the big story, and this time around we'll be talking about developments in yet another facet that we are going to be unleashing for you. Stay with us.
Take a photo of the item you want to sell, post it on OLX for free, meet the buyer, and tunda! OLX, everything.
No more waiting for your client to view 50,000 shillings on NTV ad. Our epic graphics team is waiting to
make every minute worth it, baby. It's for Usher.
Do the cameras love you? Are you stylish, talented, and can present? Then this could be your gig. The search is on for a Hot Steps presenter. Come and register for a screen test at the NTV offices located at the Kampala Serena Conference Center.
Coming soon on NTV.
Not good. Quite a sad story, considering that this is the similar way her mother died. Now, this is a story we talked about yesterday. Israel's Africa policies, an exercise in cynicism. South African intelligence accuses Israel of fueling insurrection, selling arms, and appropriating African resources. Secret documents obtained by Al Jazeera's investigative unit expose a deep disdain by South Africa's spies for their Israeli counterparts. They are saying that intelligence assessments accuse Israel of conducting cynical policies in Africa that fuel insurrection, appropriating diamonds, and even sabotaging Egypt's water supply. I'm sure this is a story that we shall continue to talk about. ISIS, the global reach. Where do ISIS's recruits come from? During the start of this week, we talked about 3 girls who had actually left the UK to join ISIS in Syria, passing through Turkey. Well, more than 20,000 foreigners have flocked actually to join ISIS from as many as 90 countries. Head transplant could actually happen in 2017. Surgeon Sergio here says recipients would be able to speak using the same voice and would be able to walk within a year. The 2 spinal cords would be fused using chemical polythene material that would add a head. It's just unbelievable here. A head transplant taking place, and you know, it could extend the lives of people who have suffered degeneration of the muscles and nerves of those who have advanced forms of cancer. On to the BBC page here, a row between the US and Netanyahu worsens. Netanyahu accuses world powers of giving up on Iran's nuclear power, trying to stop Iran nuclear weapon. Mr. Netanyahu, the US trio here tried to join ISIS, US to join the 2 of the Syria. And will continue style exchange traditional
Education across the East African region.
Thank you, first of all, Simon. It's a pleasure to be here. The Aga Khan University is a university for East Africa with campuses here in Uganda, in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, and in Nairobi. We offer health sciences education, so education for nurses and midwifery in all 3 countries, postgraduate medical education, as well as teacher education and development.
Why do you look specifically at that vocation as opposed to any other thing? I mean, we know that technology and innovation drives many economies. I mean, it drove Europe from, throughout the Renaissance because of technological advancements that came in through. Why didn't you look at that aspect as opposed to earth science?
Actually, it's an excellent question.
It is a little bit different from other types of training. And here you want small numbers, but that are focusing on quality and good preparation. In fact, our yearly intake is up to 30 for each class, and we have 2 classes, that's 60 students every year. And now these are looking at health training, they're looking at nursing training, and they are going to be spread over. Now, if you look at some of our alumni, they have been trained as leaders, and they can go over there in the different departments of health to be able to do much more and reproduce in different institutions. If you look at the spectrum of our alumni, some of them are principals of schools, some of them are senior nursing principals in hospitals, and there is a multiplier effect in that sense. Yes.
But we also know that this country still suffers from an incredible occurrence of medical brain drain, that people who are trained in such specifics always find it more lucrative to work outside the borders of Uganda for a quick buck. Certainly that's not your problem. Yours is to ensure that you train these people.
Yes.
And of course we know that among other problems that your alumni face is that there's always a job for them to do.
Sure.
But you as trainers, does it bother you that oftentimes you train people for the Ugandan medical pool, and at the end of the day, they don't even practice here. And those who do practice here are not in active practice, but they're in administration.
Thank you, Simon. That's very good. We have been aware of that challenge, and we have not let it go just like that. We have instilled values in our alumni to be able to look at serving the population. There are issues of monetary and remuneration returns, and we also look at them. But we instilled in them values to give service to the nation Uganda. And we have also tracked and are aware of
you teach them a bit of patriotism.
Kind of. But we have been monitoring our alumni to see if they're in Uganda or have flown abroad. And we are sure that over 95% of them have stayed and are working within different parts of the country.
Your monitoring them is just to find out that they're in Uganda, not to stop those who want to go out.
No, we don't stop them.
You don't have much control over them when they live in
We don't stop them, but the institution in its layout has different programs that look at both in-school candidates and those who have left the school, and that will be our alumni.
Wow.
And different charters that will look at them, we are following up a number of things, but we know that largely over 95% of them have stayed, and we have an alumni program in which we are interacting with them, continuously support them in different career development plans that they may be having.
That's a tremendous one. I mean, not many education institutions in this country, or that I know of in the region, do have a follow-up program on people when they walk out of their gates. And turning to you, Al-Karim Haji, I get it on the grapevine that the Aga Khan Foundation and the Aga Khan Universities is in huge plans to create perhaps the biggest teaching hospital in East Africa here in Uganda. Anything you want to say to that, and maybe possibly put to rest the rumor mill and say yes, it's going to happen, or no, it's not going to happen?
No, most definitely the university's board and His Highness the Aga Khan, the Chancellor of the university, are very committed to establishing a world-class teaching hospital right here in Kampala. The goal is people from Uganda and East Africa should not have to leave their country to get the best medical treatment. So this is very much on the plans, and we're working very closely with the government of Uganda to secure a land parcel near Kampala that will enable us to build this world-class facility.
So what we have is a proposal on paper, well-meaning and well-articulated, with the blessings of His Royal Highness and everybody else within his hierarchy of leadership, but not the land on which to build this, but not the first brick on the ground.
Not yet. We're still looking and working with the government, hoping to secure land. That's the first step.
And when we do that, we're looking at what time frames, because you see, securing land, there seems to be no tagline to it in terms of time. What time are we looking at? I mean, if you say we shouldn't be taking time off to go get sick outside this country, when should we look forward to being sick in our country or in our region?
Well, hopefully no one will be sick. We wish everyone good health. But if we were to get land in the next, say, 6 months, then we would start establishing the hospital within 4 to 5 years. There is a process to developing a hospital, and we would build this facility in phases over time. And there would be an element of educational training for doctors, nurses, allied health professionals as well. Because creating capacity, we're a university that's here to create leadership, to create those people who have the necessary depth and analytical skills and empathetic skills and humanitarian skills, who want to stay in the country to help solve the problems affecting their society and their communities.
Maybe Joseph will chip in here, because this is a rather very domestic issue that we continue to grapple with, and so he could be possibly more grounded about today's newspapers, we did see a headline story that about 13,000 university degrees from Makerere, for example, don't mean much. They don't even merit the paper on which they are written. And of course, not so long ago, we were told about 6,000 other degrees that were certainly to be best described as sham. And there is an increasing worry with regard to tertiary education in this part of the world. That people get in there, they don't mean business, but they walk out with the qualifications and they're given assignments, and in your case, life-saving assignments. To what extent can we be confident that a guy who's going to come and prick my behind has actually gone through the proper training that requires them to understand how to use the needle right through my flesh?
Certainly, Simon, thank you. That's very good, and especially looking at the current issues we are having locally here in the country. The Aga Khan University is one that is well monitored, and all our programs have different aspects of quality monitoring. And I am aware that the tertiary institutions regulator, the National Council of Higher Education, has put into place many mechanisms to track that and ensure that institutions are following these quality audits put in place. And you may know that when you look at mass education especially, there may be some challenge that will come certainly with that. But at Aga Khan University, we are looking at small numbers, and we ensure that all the rigors of training and ensuring quality are put in place. And as a matter of fact, we have a directorate that is able to handle that and ensure that every candidate that we let out has gone through all the rigors of the program. And certainly these are well monitored, documented, and audited.
He talks about monitoring. You are the vice president of the university. What can you add on to that monitoring mechanism? How foolproof is it? How are you able to ensure that what you see on the ground is actually what ought to be, and that ought to be tallies very well with what is on the ground?
Sure. I'll start with the focus and unrelenting focus and commitment of quality by our Chancellor, His Highness the Aga Khan, and AKU's Board of Trustees. So the quality control mechanism really has three aspects, and Joseph can elaborate more. Number one, every 4 or 5 years, we have an external review of our program from peer institutions internationally, that our programs are in line with best practices globally. Number two, we do regular internal quality assurance mechanisms and checks. So this is done by a different part of the university, a different department, whose focus is to ensure quality across the universities and its programs. And the third one is each entity has their own quality assurance mechanism and monitoring that Joseph was speaking about. So make no mistake, Simon, the focus on quality is relentless.
Wow, that sounds even more reassuring. Joseph, you may wish to chip in there.
Yes, I would wish to chip in there, and thank you, Karim has put it well. But two things I would like to add on to that. We have external reviewers that continuously look at our curriculum and our preparation requirements for the programs. And these, every 3 years, go through our curriculum to ensure that it is relevant and is going to create impact in our alumni. And you may also be aware that, of course, when they leave the program, employers are looking out there to take them on board. And the demand of your graduates by the market certainly can speak to the quality of your product. And I'm confident that many of the employers of nurses and midwives out there have been running out for the graduate that is coming from Aga Khan University, and that speaks to our quality.
Joseph, you couldn't have concluded it in a better way, and with those very reassuring words, of course, I do thank you for being a part of the big story this morning to shed some more light on new operations at the Aga Khan University School of Nursing and Midwifery, and of course, Al-Karim Haji for coming all the way, the Vice President of the Aga Khan Universities in the region, if I'm right, yes?
Yes.
And being here with us and sharing with us exactly what you do and what plans you have for development of this sector. Very particularly, wouldn't thank you more. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Simon.
Let's take a short one when we return, as Simon says. The hallmark of any quality education is its ability to do exactly that it promises to do, and that's impart knowledge. But also, most importantly, this should not just be in word, but it should be in practice, and there should be robust mechanisms of checking, one, on the quality of the education service provided by the institution, but also that those who get the education meet and exceed the set pass mark. So at the end of the day, you have got a polished product coming out of an astute institution. More so if we are looking at a course such as midwifery or nursing that has a direct impact on the well-being of society. I mean, one mistake for a midwife, that's a life lost. A mistake to a nurse, another life lost. We just can't afford to take chances with regard to quality. And with the new plans by the Aga Khan University to set up the biggest teaching hospital in the region, perhaps many of the challenges that Uganda continues to grapple with with regard to healthcare personnel will possibly be a talk of the past. We can only wait to see how soon this will be fast-tracked, and wish the Aga Khan University and the Aga Khan Foundation the very best in whatever their future plans and prospects are for the development of their programs in this country. Have a good morning and stay tuned to NTV.
Sleep in heavenly peace.
In this game called Love, you can get knocked down and it'll only be the courageous to get back up.
Were you raped?
No way. I'm just a product of abduction and excessive physical force.
Myself, I have challenged even far beyond expectation. I have failed.
And in this life of Studio 256, it's tough when the person you're closest to is the one you just cannot trust.
I'll be burning like fire. I'll be raging like hell.
Studio 256, too good to be missed.
The Aga Khan Foundation has made great strides in being part of development in East Africa, from building hospitals to enhancing infrastructural development. In commemoration of the 15th anniversary of Aga Khan University's presence in East Africa, we will telecast live the event on 26 February in Kampala starting at 11 a.m.
Think you have nothing to sell? Look around your home. You'll find something you don't use anymore that you can sell on OLX.
Simply download the OLX app, take a photo of the item you want to sell, post it on OLX for free, meet the buyer, and tunda! OLX, everything sells.
On the next episode.
She has something very important she needs to tell you.
What does that snake want from Rose?
Mom, you're not going. It might be another one of her traps.
Not my Gloria. It's definitely a trap.
You're the only person who can take care of my child the way it deserves, Rose. You've gone insane, Veronica. No.
It's time for you to do something for your daughter. It's an opportunity to redeem yourself.
Ekifo ekimu kissa wamusu n'ekyalo ekiweddeko abamanye bakiraza mumwa. Tugenda kutuuka gy'oli oyogere naffe ebikwata ku kyalo kyo, embeera mw'okolera, ebyobufuzi, ebyobulamu n'ensonga endala nnyingi. Ebyogerwa tebiyita. Tuusa eddoboozi lyo, yogera naffe buli lwakuna butereevu ku NTV Akawungeezi.
You can bring everybody in parliament as long as they can wake up and vote for their NRM.
As long as the voters exercise their rights to elect their leaders, there was no need for term limits in Uganda.
I know him. I know how he operates. I know how he thinks.
There are ways you can go around these obstacles.
Why should I conduct myself as if I am Muyai?
It's absolutely true. I admire the President Museveni.
Is the ICC a fiscal code targeting African leaders?
You cannot tell me that the whole trouble Kenya had revolved about only the two individuals.
The money is not in the budget of this financial year.
You can't beat God. You see, God is polygamous also. Look at Jeremiah chapter 31.
The security of this country will largely depend on the contribution that the people make.
He's been called Uganda's king of comedy. I'm sure Sevagala would call him a laughing stone. Pablo Yagayo is joining me this morning. How are you today?
Awesome.
You're steady?
Steady.
Where have you been? What have you been up to?
Lots of stuff has been cooking lately.
You know how to cook?
Yeah.
What do you cook? Boiled water?
I cook stories.
You cook stories. So tell me, you have been up to quite a bit. What's up for this new year? What was last year for starters for you?
Last year was amazing. It was awesome. Reason being, we had lots of stuff coming in, lots of comedy, lots of traveling. Then the highlight was Comedy Meets Music, where we had 10 musicians, 10 comedians, and 10 cakes. Celebrate 10 years. So now we are beginning the 11th year, and we are looking at better things. Last year we also had comedians coming in from different parts of Africa.
Someone told me you got one from Arua and you said he was from Nigeria.
He had an accent. Actually, he was Nigerian, but it sounded like guys from Arua Park.
Okay, so last year was a good year.
It was perfect. So this year around, we are seeing it going to another level. Not only are we going to bring in comedians, but also we are looking at the lighter side of serious issues. You know, this is a political year.
Yes, it is.
It's a political year, and so we are looking at the lighter side of politics as well. But also, we are going to find out, discover more talent. You know, there are some people who are masters of specific...
Is everybody talented in some way? Because sometimes people are like, you see these Pablos, they were born a certain way, and that kind of thing. Even the most serious of people, do they have that? You were telling me earlier on, you look forward to seeing, say, Watafide doing what? Dancing, doing break dance or something?
I mean, I believe that in every serious person, there's a lighter side of that person.
And you want to pull that out of people?
And some people are funny unconsciously. Yeah? I don't think the Sevagala knows he's hilarious. I mean, when you look at Tamale Mirundi, there's something hilarious about them, even when they don't know. So we're trying to identify that kind of talent. I mean, I've been overwhelmed by people who come and they have strange kinds of art, but quite hilarious. I met a team of guys who have a band, and it's made out of tins.
Tins,
you
like
know,
what?
like paint tins. They make a guitar out of a paint tin.
And it works?
Yeah, others have like rattles with bottle tops. And then a guy makes a piano out of strings and some wood. It looks like a xylophone, but you know, it's like a piano.
And it does a good job.
And those guys will play a song, you'll think it was recorded in studio. You know?
Ugandans are engineers after all.
Yeah.
So you're putting this together. How is it going to work for you? You have a show starting tomorrow?
Yeah. It's called Masters of the Art. I'm bringing in people who have different forms of art, like acrobats, you know. When I was young, I don't know about you, but they used to bring acrobats in school, you know. Those guys who used to walk on wires. The guy makes
that was like what, in the 60s?
Second half of the last century.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, the guy makes you eat popcorns and then your feedback are eggs. You remember something like that?
Yes, I do. Well, much of the time they'll just play with our psych and all.
Yeah. So, but this time we're looking at genuine acrobats, young guys who can somersault, dive and roll in the air at the same time. You know, we're looking at different kinds of talent. I've been watching NTV lately, and they always have that segment, I think with Uitware Tumusime, Gatru, where they bring in people who are doing something different.
Living life feature, I think it is called.
Yeah. And so we're also identifying such people who have extraordinary talent that stands out, that also has a hilarious aspect, you know. I mean, imagine Fajil Mande dancing salsa. Did you know that he's very good at salsa?
You told me this morning, I was in shock. I look forward to seeing him doing that.
Tomorrow.
So tomorrow, how is it happening? What time
tomorrow,
and so on? Where?
We begin at exactly 7:33 p.m. at the National Theatre.
Why 7:33?
Because normally it's 7:30, but we give extra 3 minutes for those who keep African time. Yeah, so it's
African time. Because I'm told instead of East African Standard Time, people have East African stretchable time. So you give room for those
times. And if you read today's monitor, the president said that Ugandans are in deep sleep.
Apparently.
Yeah, it's good to sleep until you wake up, but make sure you wake up to come and watch the show.
Wake up by 7, prepare and come. So 7:33 National Theatre, how much are people paying?
Entrance is free as long as you pay 20,000. Ordinary, and a couple pays 30,000 discount for pairs, you know.
That is socialism. Why are you making it hard for we who are not coupled up to come for your show?
It's to motivate you. Actually, we're not only motivating you alone. You know, my catchphrase is happiness. Happiness is killing me. And we are also opening happiness. So the first 100 people will get will share a Coke with Mr. Happiness. First 100.
That's a free Coke, very well
share
described.
Coke. Yeah, described with Pablo Happiness. First 100, make it a point.
Who is a couple, Pablo? Because you see, I don't know what am I going to bring my marriage certificate as I buy the ticket, that kind of thing. Somebody might come and buy, and then I buy it too, and I give one to one of our cameramen.
I don't know the laws of Uganda. I don't know whether they decided or they are still in progress. As long as they come in pairs.
Yeah, we are paying at the entrance, no buying tickets.
Yeah, you can pay at the entrance, but if you want, you can also
go to the box office. Is it?
Yeah, box office at the National Theatre. It's very important. It's very important.
What should somebody coming tomorrow expect? Because they've seen you do comedy, they've seen you bring all these Nigerians and the like tomorrow.
It's more or less
of
a variety show, because we'll have music, we'll have dance, we'll have acrobats, we have comedians, you know, because the comedians are the heart of the matter. And then we shall also have goodies to celebrate. Just know it's absolute happiness. Even take home, in fact, yeah, it will make you forget your landlord.
And Friday will be what? Friday will be 27th. When 29th, the month is just about to end, you make people forget their landlord momentarily. Yeah. Let's talk a bit about comedy in Uganda as we wrap this up. You're one of those that stand out, but I see many young people out there that are beginning to stand, you know, they're starting out, and meantime you're looking at them and you're thinking, this one, they probably need to try harder, but which is a good thing. Do you see growth in this thing? If you're to relate it, if you're to juxtapose it against the music industry in Uganda, some will tell you there is progress, others will tell you, see these newer ones are just doing popcorn things that do not last, you know, the likes of Eli Wamala, their songs are still playing to date and the like. So if you to relate that to comedy in Uganda, where do you see this, you know? Do you think maybe there's too many cooks out there that are about to spoil the broth, or is it a good thing to you that many young people are coming on board?
I think the mere fact that many young people have expressed interest in comedy, that's a manifestation.
Probably they just want to become popular and make money like Pablo.
Well, whatever they are up to doesn't count. What counts is the interest, you know, whether they want to make money, whether they want to prove, as long as they have expressed interest. And the fact that we have had very many comedy outfits coming out. And then also we have seen corporate companies expressing interest in supporting the comedy industry. To me, that means that there is something they have identified that is helping them to sell their products or, you know, identify with their service. And also the fact that the public has picked interest in rebuking the industry, whether with love or hate, shows that...
It helps you to get better.
Yeah, it helps it to get much better. You know, they help to pan a bit. And lately we have been mentoring comedians. We have mentored around 12 comedians because we felt that we needed to shape the direction of the industry.
Absolutely.
And they have come out, they have started their comedy outfit, they're called the Punchliners. And and the fact that even you have seen Mnet come in to shoot Comedy Club live in Kampala twice. So that shows that they have seen that there's something special. There's a carrot in the market business. Yeah. And also, when you look at the established comedians from Uganda at the moment, they are spread their wings, they are flying out. You've seen Ann Kansime moving around, Patrick Idring moving around, Daniel O'Mara, you know, and that to me shows that every comedian needs to buy shades because the future is bright.
Future is bright. Ugandans are in deep sleep, Ugandans are grappling. It's a good thing to laugh. I'm told laugh is a good remedy. It takes away stress and all those things.
Actually, every 60 seconds you spend angry, you lose a minute of happiness. Yeah, so it's very important to be...
I was trying to think about it. I was thinking this might make sense. Then eventually
a lot of sense.
60 seconds, a minute. Pablo Yagayo.
Yes, man.
Go out for that show tomorrow. Be a part of it. 733 National Theatre.
733.
20K, 50K.
20K and 30K for a couple.
For a couple.
And so therefore the first 100.
And for the first 100 couples, what else?
100 couples. You come with love.
You come with love.
Yeah, we shall give you happiness.
I hope I will come with love, but let's see how things go. Thanks so much for joining us this morning.
The pleasure is mine.
We are moving over to Mabel. I don't know, Mabel, whether you will be there tomorrow with Mr. Muheleza. That will save you some money, Mabel. So see how you go about that. Over to you, Mabel.
Well, thank you very much, Joel. Quite interesting there. 7:33. I think since many Ugandans don't keep time, at least we are given 3 minutes extra before we can join Pablo on that show. Reminding you also to vote for NTV Social Media Awards. The website is socialmediaawards.ug. Go and vote NTV in the 3 categories of Best Brand, Best Innovation, and Best Media Outlet. Well, today is the 26th of February, and we are celebrating the birthday of Michael Bolton. So if you were born on this day, you celebrate your birthday with Michael Bolton. He turns 61 years old. He's a Grammy Award-winning recording artist who specializes in love ballads. But believe it or not, he actually started in hard rock and heavy metal genres in the 1970s and part of the early 80s. He's famous for songs like When a Man Loves a Woman, How Am I Supposed to Live Without You, Lean on Me, and Said I Loved You, But I Lied. We have a short clip of him. Michael Bolton, they are turning 6
out, and then there is a hand up. And sometimes when we see these programs, we have gone to Karamoja and you're doling out all these things, you know, and it's a good thing that we are helping these people because they are in urgent need. But then the sustainability. If I'm to relate that to, say, the Youth Livelihood Program, we give money to young people and all these other programs there have been about young people. And at the end of the day, this money dissipates. You know, there's no sustainability. Tomorrow, the young people are broke already because we are probably not followed up. We have given them a handout. We have not given them a hand up. And when I see the happenings in Karamoja, it's a good thing. But you see, it looks like a very temporary shot in the arm. It's not a hand up. It is a handout. How do we ensure sustainability? That, look, we are not just giving you these, I don't know, have a dam or have this kind of thing. But there is sustainability that these people get to own these things and run with them and use them productively. Because you see, I prognosticate a situation where 5 years from today, the people of Karamoja will come again and say, look, the other water dams, I think there's a problem with it, give us more, that kind of thing. How do we make sure we run away from that?
Certainly, I think it's not correct for you to say that these are just handouts. I think when we enhance people's capacity to produce, you are actually not giving them the fish, but you are giving them the means to fish. Karamoja in the past used to be fed. We used to provide food. Hunger strikes and government is running to provide maize and beans. Now we are saying
there's still hunger in parts of Karamoja.
No doubt about that. But now we are saying let the people in Karamoja be engaged in productive activities. How do we get them to produce? How do we support this productive venture? By providing the technology that will improve productivity, and those are the ox plows, those are the oxens, those are the heifers for livelihood and income generating activities. So it's not true that we are just providing, it's a handout. No, that technology would last. I mean, you've seen an ox plow. It's not a technology that will collapse on you even in a year or 2 years. It will always be there. And it does not do for just one household. It will do for several households. So if you have to fully and maximally utilize that technology, by the time it needs mending or repair, it would have produced so much for several households. But also let me add, we are not only closing CALIP, we are also closing ALREP, which is Northern Uganda Agricultural Livelihood Program. It has also done a tremendous job in Northern Uganda, in several districts of Northern Uganda, Gulu, Nwoya, and others. And that program too has enhanced the infrastructure in Northern Uganda. We've done so many things, including infrastructure in form of health centers. We have done feeder roads, we have done community roads, but again, we have enhanced the capacity of the people to produce, to have an uptake on improved technologies like improved seeds and seedlings. So we are very happy.
Let's talk a little bit more about the issue of, you talked about these programs lasting and sustainability. I'll tell you, and I'll keep using examples of different government projects, programs for that matter. Good programs, at least from the onset. But you see, what normally happens is that we seem to do them capriciously. You're able to change when you've done this for 5 years, you drop it and then embark on another. Afterwards, it looks like it's picking up, you drop it. Do you ever monitor these activities? You know, you look at so many, you know, some are not even from your ministry. And they're good government programs. But you see, when government has a hand in it, after a couple of years, they drop it and then move to something else. Yeah. Meanwhile, this one flops. They drop that one and move to something else. And so we have closed this. How do we ensure that we are going to follow this up? Of course, the flip side would be that, look, we don't expect these people to keep looking up to you. They need to grow up, per se, and they begin to own this. But look, for the start, there's need to be some kind of M&E. You're going to have to monitor them and make sure they're doing them as they should. Is that happening many times? That doesn't happen.
It's happening progressively. It's happening. First of all, it's right from the planning stage. These are not programs which we impose on them. These are programs which are actually supporting the district development plan. We do not go to the districts to say, this is what we want to do. The district leaders already have the district development plan. So we fit in there, and we support the implementation of the district development plan. So the leaders, the local government administration have to ensure the continuity, have to ensure monitoring, have to ensure sustainability, because it's their program. It's not a hand down from the center. It is what they saw and perceive to be beneficial, the communities that they lead. So the M&E, yes, the M&E is at several levels. The monitoring and evaluation at the center, we do have mechanisms for monitoring, but at district level, the monitoring is even more important. I'll give you an example. We have what we call community participation. When an infrastructure is being developed, the community monitoring team sits every week to see what are the inputs into building a health center. They actually monitor to the extent of seeing how many bags of cement are being used vis-a-vis how much sand. It's to that detail. So a local person is sitting on this committee monitoring what is happening to avoid pilferage, but also to ensure quality and also ensures ownership of the programs. They are there.
Talk about quality and ensuring efficaciousness. Many times, especially your ministry, again, it's been dogged with all manner of happenings. You know, there's been rapacity therein, a project like this one, and there's been talk about this particular project. I'm sure you have heard people saying, look, are we too sure we got value for money? Here, 100 million should have been used, but as you can, when you do the assessment and evaluation, realize that equipment worth about 60, 70 million was used and that kind of thing. Are we taking stock? Is there going to be accountability? Because you have wrapped this up, but then questions are going to begin rising up, and usually that's what happens usually. You know, after CHOGM is wrapped up, then later that is when we get to here. After, I don't know, whatever the case might be, then we get to here. You know, so Have we done our due diligence, crossed all the T's, dotted all the I's? Are we not in a month's time going to hear? Madam Christine Gua today is being summoned by Parliament to answer questions. We have had this again and again. And maybe that's why sometimes people look and they're thinking, this is another of those projects that come and government officials are going to eke out a living. Nothing is going to work on ground.
First of all, we're not going to shy away from implementing projects because people will talk. The government has a responsibility of enhancing the livelihoods and improving Ugandans. So we shall not shy away because people will talk. But what you're saying is important, the accountability. This program is very successful because it has clean audits. It's one of those very few programs of government which has a clean audit. We are doing it in partnership with the European Union, and you know their monitoring systems are also very strong, and they are satisfied. So from the onset, I'll tell you and assure Ugandans that this particular program will not suffer what you are saying. So even 2 years down the road, when I'm invited to explain this, I'm cocksure that I will not have to explain what is bizarre. So I would like to assure you and Ugandans that we have done all the due diligence, we have implemented and achieved what we had set out to do. We have actually met the objectives of the project, and we have had very good financial management in this project.
What next for Karamoja? This program has wrapped up. You're not abandoning it. They still have one too many predicaments. What next do you have in store for them?
We are designing a successor program. We are designing a successor program for this, but also to tell you that this is not the only program we have for Karamoja. There are several other programs under PRDP framework which we are implementing for Karamoja. But for this specific one, we shall have another EU-funded program which we are designing as a successor to CALIP.
I'm just thinking about the too many programs that you're talking about, and I'm thinking either we are having very high expectations or maybe progress is not happening as we expect it to, because you see with all these many programs, this one comes, it wraps up. For some reason, Karamoja does not seem to move at the pace that we would like it to move. Is it that we are too expectant? Is it that somebody somewhere is sleeping on the job? Because at the end of the day, when there's this program, another, you expect that there should be value for those things. You know that ultimately, Karamoja should be seen to make some good progress. I'm not too sure we see that. I don't know whether we are just being pessimistic.
I think you are being pessimistic.
Or maybe being realistic.
No, you are being pessimistic. The areas that we are serving under PRDP are below the national average in all respects. When you look at the health indicators, education indicators, all indicators, life, maternal health, they are below. So that is why we have these special programs to bring this region up to the national average. That is the starting point. When you look at the statistics, which unfortunately carry, but what the statement is that they are below the national. So in terms of performance in health, in education, maternal health, agriculture, other things, they are below. So these projects are an additionality to bring them at par with the rest of the nation, the rest of Uganda to begin with. So that's why we have quite a number of projects, interventions to bring them at par with the national average. That's a very good starting point, and a point that people should always remember. When you criticize and say we are having so many things for Karamoja, no, it's not because we want to do little small programs for Karamoja. No, we are addressing particular sectors where we want to show improvement and bring it to the national average. Of course, Uganda has progressed a lot in many respects. But the data shows that the northern Uganda, because of what has happened, northern Uganda was at war for 20 years. So there's a lot that was not happening, which was happening in southern Uganda. So that's an important point.
I know we chit-chatted a bit about this issue, but let's dwell on it some more. Because I imagine it falls under your docket. The street families, actually, for some of us, we've always called them street kids. You make it clearer. Street families, that's even more worrisome. What's the plan for these people? They are Ugandans, and many times we get irritated when they come, when we are through traffic and the like, and they're asking us for chikumi and that kind of thing. Some will give them money, some will want to slap them, whatever the case might be. This should be a concern for us. We seem to do little, if anything, at all for this.
It is a big concern. It apparently falls in the docket of Minister of Gender, because street children is a docket of Minister of Gender, where I was, so I know. The Ministry of Gender developed a multi-sectoral strategy to address the problem. Isn't it curious for you that it is Karimojong children? Why?
That's why I was insisting it's under-educated, because you see, it's not just children, it is Karimojong children.
It's Karimojong
but
children.
But maybe could that not be the problem? You talk about it, you call it a multi-sectoral strategy. And I'm thinking many times maybe we are too pedantic about these things. You know, we come up with these strategies and so on. And they gather dust, but you see, we are not addressing reality on ground.
Because you have to diagnose the problem. Where is the problem? What is the problem? Now, what are the push factors? The push factors is what exactly I've just talked about, that you have a region which is not doing well in terms of health, doing well in terms of education, the environment is harsh, there is no water, livelihood is at its lowest. So people are pushed to find so-called greener areas. But if you address those factors where the people are living, then you will have them settled and leave the streets. That's the point, actually. That's why the sectoral approach. You need the water person to fix the water. You need the environment to be fixed by the entire, fabric. All the community itself has to fix you need education to be fixed. You need the livelihood component to be fixed. Then you'll have communities settled. If you observed, I don't know how old you are, but in the late 80s, early 90s, there was no Karimojong child on the street. Who were they? They were children from Masaka, Mpigi, Mubende. Where are they? We don't see them anymore. What happened? What happened? As the economy improved, they got absorbed into something. They got absorbed into doing things. Their labor was absorbed into doing things. You don't see them here. You have border, you have the transport industry, growing bigger and bigger, so they get absorbed. Why is it Karimojong children? Because of the factors I'm telling you. The harsh environment, the lack of water, the feeding aspect. So you fix those, they will go back to their locality. By the way, it's not all Karimojong.
Well, it is not. They just happen to be the majority.
No. Even in Karamoja, it is the people we see here are from one sub-county, Bokora sub-county. Bokora were historically used to moving from Karamoja to go and offer their labor in Teso. So they are actually, it's just that group which we need to fix. But it's in the docket of Ministry of Gender.
Well, one problem that you need to fix, I hope you do fix it real good. You're talking good, telling us all that you're planning to do, what you have done so far. We hope to see results at the end of the day, because you see, when the permanent secretary tells you all these things, strategies and stuff like that, to the common man, they're actually confused because these things sound convoluted. So at the end of the day, they want to see results on ground, and we are counting on that. We believe you'll do a good job. Hopefully you do.
We do.
Thanks so much for joining us, madam, this morning.
Thank you.
All right, and that's Everyday Life for you this morning. Aisha is here. She'll be talking sports with Mabel in a bit.
To make it in this financial jungle, you need an ally. Welcome to the new ICEA Group, your one-stop shop for all your insurance, pensions, and investment solutions.
NTV goes mobile.
So you can watch the news and any of your favorite programming from anywhere, anytime on your mobile phone.
You can catch your favorite program and news from the comfort of your office, taxi, car, or your favorite Kafunda anytime. Download NTV Mobi now on Play Store. Terms and conditions apply.
NTV esinga ngatijaguze myaka munana ngonyumira ngatukuwereza webale nakusima.
The Aga Khan Foundation has made great strides in being part of development in East Africa, from building hospitals to enhancing infrastructural development. In commemoration of the 15th anniversary of Aga Khan University's presence in East Africa, we will telecast live the event on 26 February in Kampala starting at 11 a.m. Galaxy International School Uganda is a co-educational Cambridge school with 2 campuses, located in Laboa, Kampala, and newly opened campus in Jinja. There is a boarding section for both boys and girls at both campuses, which provides a secure, comfortable, and hygienic atmosphere. We also have diverse club and sport activities for our students. Galaxy is now in Jinja with highly experienced, trained Ugandan and expatriate staff. Admission is ongoing at both campuses. Do the cameras love you? Are you stylish, talented, and can present? Then this could be your gig. The search is on for a Hot Steps presenter. Come and register for a screen test at the NTV offices located at the Kampala Serena Conference Center.
Good morning.
This is my mom. She's a dentist.
Do you know what dentists do?
But who protects their teeth?
I use Colgate twice a day. It contains liquid calcium and fluoride. Imagine this is your tooth, and these are the food acids that cause cavities. Colgate helps prevent holes for all-round protection.
So, how do we protect our teeth?
Colgate!
For maximum cavity protection.
My strong recommendation.
On the next episode,
the men of Kamuli have chosen another definition of spacing. When you have a child in Kamuli, you have another one in Buenge. That is called spacing.
naturally, a man can produce 5 children in one night.
Those implants have caused unreasonable weight gain, unreasonable weight loss.
Which men you don't like?
Exactly. If you chose a thin one and she's very fat and reasonable, then it goes against your interest. However,
Day morning, ladies here in pink. I think yours is a brighter pink than mine.
Yeah.
Are you enjoying the end of the week? Thursday is like one of my favorite days.
It is, it is. It's a good week so far.
So Brian should stay away.
He should. Hopefully he gets well soon.
Yeah. I do hope he gets well soon. Well, let's head straight into the news. Into the sports news right now. The NRC calendar starts Friday. Do you think Sebuguzi will be unchallenged this season?
You think that he goes into this one with an advantage. I mean, he was almost faultless like last season, and I think almost everyone did pick up a couple of injuries along the way with their cars, and I think even just the finances. Rallying is one really expensive sport, and I think you get run out towards the last bend of the season. So Duncan Chikankane was really close. I think Omar Mayanja, the crew of Omar Mayanja and Leon Senyange were really good and did well in the Pearl of Africa, which was not the case for him. So Sebuguzi, it's going to be a challenge. You've got Luakataka, who is still behind bars. That's really sad because it's always
some fish issue.
Yeah, so it's always one of those issues, and he's always been a challenger when it comes to his NRC events. So
what about Lady Muonge?
Yeah, Susan Muonge as well. She wasn't as serious as you want her to be last season round, and she had issues with her car as well. But I think not too much to read, especially in the first rally, because there are a couple of guys that do have new cars, and they're always trying to test them out and all. So you're going to see a couple of crashes to test how far your car is going to go. But a good, you see Kuku Ranjit is going to be part of the rally this time around, and I think Desh Kananura as well coming in for the rally this time around to see how far you could go in this one. So it's going to be an interesting one. The section starts in Masaka on Friday before proceeding all the way to Mbarara. So should be a good weekend for anyone along those routes.
But people do need to keep safe,
I know,
well behind the...
and I think, and again, they're in a bit of a transition and they've not signed as well. You're looking at a roster that keeps on changing almost every game. You've got Nick Young coming in, you've got, now they don't have Kobe who is out, but they still keep him on the books as well, and you don't think he's going to be coming back and be the Kobe that you know the Kobe Bryant. So it's really tough times for this Lakers side, and they've not even started rebuilding as yet, because you look at sides like Celtics who have managed to do that, and you think 2 or 3 seasons down the road, Boston Celtics is going to be a side to reckon with.
Now, I do not know, and we're supposed to talk about the UEFA Champions League. And I know I had Joel earlier saying something, and even Simon, probably that's why Brian is not here with us today. But let us talk about Leverkusen, you know, and Atletico.
Yeah.
What happened there?
Leverkusen getting a slight lead. They were playing at home, and I think Karl Honoglo eventually getting them on the score sheet and getting them the goal. But I think the more interesting news was the one that was happening off pitch.
No, let's talk about Atletico.
Diego Simeone, their coach, having a bit of a fight with the first team assistant of Leverkusen. Because he didn't agree with one of the decisions, and yeah, he's a really tall guy, so you can imagine what was going on down there. The camera had to zoom in right back there, and the football action, they carry a very slim lead, 1-0 against this Atletico Madrid side that will go down to Spain and try to win this one. I think they've done well at this stage in this one. Then of course Arsenal, the reason why, of course, Brian perhaps is not here today.
Now, Monaco, let's backtrack a little bit.
Yeah.
Monaco, really, when the draw was made, I remember, you know.
And they did Monaco. The reason why they met Monaco is because Monaco topped their group and considered only 2 goals en route to going to topping that group of theirs. So it was a really strong side, and I think I talked about this yesterday as well.
But Monaco would have ordinarily been a walkover.
Yeah, the fact that they've lost a couple of players, and Arsenal went into this one as the informed side, if you're going by their domestic form, and that pretty much didn't work out for them. But first half, they really looked into it, but that was a spectacular goal as well, coming in from Kondogbia. A beauty of it, and I think you can't really blame anyone for that one, especially since it came from out of play, and you thought should have gone on eventually. But eventually, Berbatov returns to England and does wonders. That run down, I think in the second half, Arsenal were completely off
Well, Adebayo, who happened to come to Uganda some time back, I was actually very happy. I was like, this guy was actually
Did you see
here.
him? I saw him.
I didn't see him. The pictures they showed on, I saw him later, but the pictures that of the team, because he didn't travel with that Togolese.
He didn't travel with the team, but eventually joined them up for the first training. And he had an assistant who had to gauge his mood before he talked to the journalists. But Abdul is a quite down-to-earth guy.
You can't be down to earth like that when you're earning a salary of 100,000 pounds a month.
From the
a week.
players who had a chance when they traveled to Togo for the return leg, and had a chance to, because he picked out a couple of players and they went to his house and all in Togo, where he had a helipad and had all sorts of lavish living in his home. Were quite amazing, and
people went to his home in Togo.
Yes, they had a chance to. He invited them to
the
some of the Ugandan players.
That was good.
And they were amazing.
Absolutely brilliant. Adebayor! What about it? What about that?
Adebayor onside. Debut goal for Emmanuel Adebayor.
Goal to Adebayor! Icing on the cake. And Adebayor doesn't score, but he follows up. Now he's smiling.
Yo, bro, I don't get my chick, man. When I SMS her, she wants me to WhatsApp. When I WhatsApp, she wants me to call.
I know you're my big bro, but you gotta change, man.
What? Change my girl?
No, man. Change your pack to Chavi Sek.
Get 40 MB data, 40 minutes of talk time, and 40 SMSs with Chavise for just 1,500 Uganda shillings.
Yeah! You lose.
Airtel.
Coming soon on NTV.
You say I'm crazy.
'Cause you don't think I know what you've done. But when you come
It's gonna be lights, camera, and action.
Hey, what's up?
Baby, you're too much, yo. Kids Silent Touch, coming soon. Only on NTV. Turning on your world.
Coming soon on NTV.
No more waiting for your client to view their ads only when there's a TV screen. Your ads can be mobile and extremely affordable. Advertise for as little as 15,000 shillings on NTV Mobi and be seen everywhere. If you don't have an ad, our Epic Graphics team is waiting to put an ad together for you. At NTV, there's no such thing as a small business. Be part of the experience. Call now. NTV Mobi. Advertising redefined.
The Aga Khan Foundation has made great strides in being part of development in East Africa, from building hospitals to enhancing infrastructural development. In commemoration of the 15th anniversary of Aga Khan University's presence in East Africa, we will telecast live the event on 26 February in Kampala starting at 11 a.m.
Anytime, anywhere, go get some Elevir. Together as family and friends, go get some Elevir. When you want yogurt, creamy and tasty, get happiness, get energy, get all you need. So many flavors for everybody. Make no mistake, go get the best. It's Elevir.
Elevir yogurt. Pure pleasure.
Era nga abakugu batugamba tubeere nnyo abayonjo okusobola okwewala okukwatibwa obulwadde buno ate era okulaba nga tubukendeeza. Olunaku olw'eggulo twalabye abakugu mu KCCA nga beewera okuggalawo ebifo byonna ebirimu obujama ebirowoozebwa okubanga obaolyawo bye bivaako omusujja guno ogw'omubyenda. Katulabeggulire nga bwe lyabadde n'oluvannyuma ngenda kuwa omukisa okuba essimu oteese ku butya ffe bannayuganda kiki kye tukoze nga tetunaba kwekwasa ba gavumenti oba abakulu mu bitongole ebyobulamu. Gwe nga gwe okozeewo ekyokulaba ng'omusujja guno ogw'omubyenda tegukwata ate ng'ogulwanyisa ne mu kitundu kyo.
Omuwendo gw'abantu abasangibwa nga balina omusujja gw'omubyenda gulinnya kyekiwaliza ekitongole kya KCCA okukangula ku ddoboozi okulaba ng'ekirwadde kino kituulibwa ku nfeete.
Tugenda kukola test z'amazzi ago. Bw'anaabanga amazzi ge tusanga mu bifo by'enjawulo nga majama, tujja kuwalizibwa okuggalawo ebifo ebyo okutuusa nga omutindo guteredde gwongedde okutereera. Oba bifo biriibwamu oba wafunibwa amazzi.
Kizuuliddwa nti ebinywebwa ebitundibwa bye bisinze okuzuulibwamu kazambi avuddeko omusujja guno ogukaabya bannakampala.
Tutunula ku report gye tufunye okuva mu lab gye bayita microbiology analysis, samples ezisinga